blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, the time is the late 1960s. The place, Washington, D.C. The story, Honeymoon in Hell.
My name is Carmody. I'm a Grade 1 cybernetics man at Western Alliance headquarters in the Pentagon. Used to be a rocket pilot, but they retired me at 27 after I made the third successful flight to the moon. As a Grade 1 cybernetics operator, I get to work with Junior. Let me tell you about Junior. He was built in 1962, and he's the world's finest electronic brain, with the possible exception of Ivan, the Eastern Alliance brain, which was built on stolen plans and modeled after Junior. There are only 4 men in the country permitted in the same room with Junior because the data we feed him is so secret. One of those 4 is the president of the Western Alliance. The other 3 are myself, Charlie Mazer, and the chief.
Ray?
Oh, yes, Chief.
Have you got Junior running a problem?
Well, I just fed him the hourly data for probability of H-bomb war with the Eastern Alliance. He's ready. Hold it.
According to the data just received, the probability of a hot war between the Western and the Eastern Alliance is 99.930 in favor of such a war breaking out within the next month.
Oh, it doesn't sound good, Chief.
Yeah. Well, I'll scramble the data, send it to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Meanwhile, here's a priority C civilian problem to run off.
Oh, what's this stuff?
Well, it seems on September 17th, a statistician in the Birth Record Department of New York City noticed that out of 813 births reported that day, 657 had been girls, and only 156 had been boys.
Well, that sounds impossible.
Well, that's what this statistician thought. So they phoned some other cities, and the same trend is being shown, not only in other American cities, but in Western Europe.
Sunspots, maybe?
That's for Junior to figure out. He's the brain here.
Okay, I'll feed him.
Give me the results on the intercom. I'll be in my office.
Right. I didn't really pay much attention to the problem at the time. As a Grade 1 operative, I was more interested in asking Junior questions on security, ballistics, missiles, rocketry, and so on. The Eastern Alliance would undoubtedly have traded 3 puppet governments and the tomb of Lenin to have an agent as a Grade 1 operative. But I took the birth statistics and fed them in and waited. Junior, incidentally, responds to vocal stimuli. Speaks 12 languages. Got the answer, Junior?
I have.
Okay.
The present statistics, if the trend is projected for another day, indicate a definite, dangerous imbalance. If the trend is irreversible, unless new methods of reproduction are developed, the population of the United States and Western Europe will die out in 1 1/2 generations.
Well, it wasn't long before the newspapers got the story and kicked it around. People in governments really started to worry now. Biologists and laboratories made it their number 1 project. On September 29th, only 41 boys were born in the entire United States. During the month of October, in spite of all the work going on, not a single male child was born anywhere in the world, with the exception of 1 in Outer Mongolia and 1 in Alaska. November drew another blank. I was working 18 hours a day, feeding every available scrap of data to Junior.
Data insufficient for answer to your question.
Well, here's the latest. A new analysis of chromosome structure indicates the presence of an additional electron in the orbit of the Y atoms for carbon chain X. Now try again. The question is, what is causing the lack of male birth?
Anything new, Ray?
No, not yet. Hold it.
Data insufficient.
Well, that's it. We've fed Junior every scrap of information that every physicist, geneticist, chemist, and biologist in this half of the world knows, and all he does is say data insufficient.
Yeah, well, the operator who had him last night didn't do any better.
Any more information on the Eastern Alliance? Have they made any progress?
No, but at least the talk of a hot war is dying down.
Well, they're still working on a space station, aren't they?
Oh, yes, we're both going ahead with that. But, well, this seems to be a common problem now. You know, in spite of hydrogen bombs and ICBMs, people don't really expect the whole race to die out from a war. But the complete lack of male children, now that's something that every family can understand.
Has anybody thought of the possibility of some kind of radiation from outer space that's damaging the chromosomes, something our instruments can't detect?
Everybody's thought of it. Nobody's proved anything. Well, keep trying, Junior. Maybe he'll come up with something.
Okay. Junior, I'm ashamed of you. Answer me.
Information recorded.
Look, you're a whiz on rocket fuels and space orbits, but when it comes to women, you're a total bust, just like me. I don't understand them and never will.
Information recorded.
Now, you've convinced us that if we use the H-bombs in total war, both sides will lose, and we know that your counterpart in Moscow University has given the same information to the Eastern Alliance. That you can figure out. But women, you can't have genetics without women, right?
No.
Well, you know that much. What about that blonde at the party last night, huh? What about her?
The question is inadequately worded. Please clarify.
Should I see her again?
No.
What? You haven't even got any data on her. Why shouldn't I see her again? Answer, please.
Because tomorrow you are going to be married.
Well, I almost jumped out of my chair. Junior had gone stark raving mad. Besides, Junior never made predictions unless he had some definite data. There wasn't a woman on Earth I had the slightest interest in marrying. I was a confirmed bachelor. So, unless somebody else had been feeding phony data into Junior, which was almost impossible since he already had enough data to check any flaw, well, I figured he'd blown a transistor. Come in. Oh, Chief, I was just going to tell you that... Oh.
Ray Carmody, this is the president of the Western Alliance. Captain Carmody, Mr. President.
Glad to meet you, Captain.
Oh, I'm very honored, sir.
The president came here specifically to talk to you, Ray.
To me?
Captain Carmody, you have been chosen to have the opportunity to volunteer for a mission of extreme importance. Now, there's much danger, but not as much as on your previous trip to the moon.
Previous trip, sir? Then this involves another?
The flight to the moon, Captain, will be the least important part of your mission. What's at stake here is the survival of the human race. Chief, perhaps you'd better explain the rest.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know the problem, Ray. Last night when Mitchell was on, we fed Junior some new data, and we asked some new questions. For example, we asked if the lack of male birth could be due to some extraterrestrial enemies of man.
Or Martians?
Possibly. We established that it's possible that Martians have landed somewhere on Earth and set up radiation that causes all children to be females.
Junior said it was possible?
Definitely. So we asked him the next question. How could we correct such a situation?
Mm-hmm. What did he say?
Junior suggested that a married couple spend a honeymoon on the moon and see if circumstances are different.
Oh, I see. You want me to pilot them there?
Well, not exactly, Captain.
Oh, good grief. You mean you want me to... Well, Junior wasn't crazy after all.
You asked Junior?
He said I was getting married, but... Well, how do you know it was me they'd pick?
He was asked the qualifications for the bridegroom. He recommended a rocket pilot who had already made the trip successfully.
Well, there are 4 other pilots who've made that trip.
You're the only single one. And since the woman must be a qualified pilot also, and none of the wives are pilots, well...
I assume I'm going to be married before we leave.
Well, naturally.
Oh. And, just how long do we stay on the moon?
Until a child is conceived.
Brother.
Well, Captain, do you volunteer?
I suppose so. Well, wait a minute. Who's the other pilot? I mean, the girl.
She was flown in by fast rocket an hour ago and is waiting in Chief Reba's office. Now, Shall we go?
There were some officials there, and a justice, and my bride. She was small, dark, slender, and very attractive. I was so busy looking at the way she filled out her uniform in just the right places that I almost overlooked the fact that she was dressed like an Eastern Alliance pilot.
Captain Ray Carmody, may I present Lieutenant Anya Borisovna?
You mean this is, an enemy pilot?
Pleased to meet you, Captain.
Yes, I'm pleased to meet you. Mr. President,
Captain, this marriage is being done on an international basis for important diplomatic reasons. Both alliances have been advised by their cybernetic machine that the experiment, if it is to benefit humanity, must bring all the major powers together. Miss Borisovna is 24, an experienced rocket pilot like yourself, and quite attractive, if I do say so myself.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, if you're both ready, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court will perform the ceremony.
Well, there's just one thing, Mr. President. Miss Borisovna, would you marry me?
Yes. And you may call me Anya.
Okay. Mr. President, we're ready. I didn't even get a chance to kiss the bride. We were rushed over to the labs for a pre-flight physical. Then the chief took me aside for a private pre-flight briefing.
Congratulations, Ray. Sit down.
Thank you.
Now, 0 hours at 10 o'clock.
Only half an hour?
We've known about this for several weeks now, Ray. Ship is ready. We've already fired 11 supply rockets and observed that they landed on the moon near where you're supposed to put down. One of them contains a heat-proof, airtight, collapsible shelter where you'll live.
Uh-huh. Oh, what's the ship like?
R-26, much better than the R-24 that you flew there. Last time, Ray, you took 4.5 Gs for 7 minutes. This time you'll get by with 3 Gs and have 12 minutes to accelerate to Brenchless. Now, you'll have enough fuel for the trip there. One of the supply rockets has your return fuel. Oh, yes. We put in a case of scotch and a case of vodka, just as an icebreaker.
Before we go, Chief, what would you have done if I'd turned this job down?
The cybernetics machine predicted that you wouldn't. Besides, we could have had 100 volunteers an hour after seeing Anya Borisovna. That gal was moonbait.
Careful. You're speaking of my wife.
Tower to R-26. Are you both strapped in?
Anya, you strapped into the webbing?
Yes.
Okay, Chief.
The time is X-15. I have a message from the President. Quote, "The people of the world are watching. Don't fail them. I have messages from the Soviets, the Chinese, the British, the Indians, all wishing you well. You are the hope of mankind, and all mankind unites as it has never before united in giving you its blessings. We await your return anxiously." Unquote. X-5. 4, 3, 2, X-1. Blast off.
The sound that was beyond all sound struck us like a giant muffled hammer. It built up until we weighed 480 pounds, pressed flat against the webbing. Sound and pressure went on and on interminably. Then we reached Brenchless, free of the pull of Earth. I blacked out. When I came to, a lovely face was bent over mine, 2 dark eyes smiling at me.
Are you all right, Ray?
Oh, yeah. Are we weightless?
Yes. I shut off the fuel. We won't need it until we land.
Oh, thanks.
If you would teach me, I could help you land the ship. Oh, I've never been to the moon.
Well, sure. Just slide over here to the control panel.
All right. Like this?
Oh, that's fine. We've got about 4 hours Earth time to get acquainted.
Have you known many women?
A few. Have you had any boyfriends?
One or two.
Well, I was never really serious about anybody.
Oh.
You, have a family?
Yes. In Magnitogorsk.
Oh. I'm from Brooklyn.
How long have you been a rocket pilot?
Oh, since I was 18. I'm 27.
I'm 24. I learned rockets when I was 18 also.
Oh. Well, we better concentrate on the ship just now. Later on, we can talk about ourselves more. Meanwhile, though, I hope you're not sorry. I mean, about this business. I guess it isn't very romantic.
I'm not sorry.
We made a good landing. It didn't knock either of us unconscious. Then we got into our spacesuits and got out of the rocket. Some of the supply rockets were lying within a quarter mile. There were 6 eastern rockets and 3 westerns. About 800 yards away, though, there was a big supply rocket we couldn't identify. It looked different from the others, and neither of us could identify it as an eastern or western design we were familiar with. I pointed to it, and we headed there. You recognize that supply rocket?
No, I was not briefed on anybody's standard still in the shape.
Well, it must be something the chiefs of staff sent up as a surprise for us. I figured about 50 feet long, but you can't see the rocket tubes.
It might be a payload from a stepped rocket assembly.
Uh-huh. Well, there's a door on the side, anyway, you see? The top of that ramp.
Oh, yes. Maybe we ought to observe it a while before we go in.
Oh, nonsense. Come on.
Ray.
Yes?
Ray, I'm frightened. There's something wrong with this.
Only one way to find out, Anya. Let's go. Well, there's some kind of lock on this door. Let's see if it opens. Wow. That was easy.
It's lighted inside.
Mm-hmm. Come on. Maybe they sent us a surprise cottage for the honeymoon. Special delivery to the moon.
This doesn't look like anything designed for humans to live in. Ray! The door's closed behind us.
Try the lock.
No, it's no use.
Here, let me try it. Ooh, holy smoke, I can't get it open. Do you have a gun?
No, I have no weapons.
They would be useless anyway.
Ray. Oh, look.
Good grief. They look like blobs of flesh with arms and legs.
About 3 feet tall.
Don't make any sudden moves. That's some kind of weapon he's carrying.
Precisely, Captain Carmody.
Who are you? How do you know my name?
My people and I are inhabitants of another galaxy.
Extraterrestrials?
Precisely. As for how we know your name and your language, we have been studying you since you first achieved space travel. We have intercepted your radio communications, for example.
Have you been responsible for the lack of male birth?
We have been beaming an ultrasonic wave toward your planet.
What are you planning to do?
For the moment, we will keep you aboard our ship and study you. You may remove your helmets, incidentally. We have provided an oxygen atmosphere.
Can we risk it?
Well, if he wants to kill us, there are easier ways. Here, help me get it off. Well, it breathes pretty good. Keep your helmet with you.
You may make yourselves comfortable. We will bring you food and liquid from your supply rockets. Do not attempt to escape, please. It could be most unpleasant.
The next few days were like a nightmare. The blobs left us to ourselves except to feed us. Of course, it had its funny side, too. The creatures knew we needed liquid, but they couldn't distinguish between water and whiskey. For the first 2 days, we had nothing but whiskey to drink. For obvious reasons, I don't remember much about it, but we did begin to sing to each other. We also got to know and like each other. I got to learn some Eastern songs. On the 3rd day, the jugs were water jugs, and we sobered up. Oh, what a hangover.
You were singing magnificently.
Oh, well, you weren't so bad yourself. How long was I asleep?
About 8 hours. Ray, while you were passed out, I discovered how we can escape.
What?
I've been studying the blobs. They seem to have a 5-hour sleep period when there is no sound in a ship. I've tried banging on the wall with my helmet during that period, but apparently they're almost completely unconscious during others.
Mm-hmm. 5 hours sleep. That means a planet with approximately a 20-hour rotation. The Joint Chiefs will want to know that if we get back.
And more important, we're much stronger physically than they are. I can actually bend the metal of the door lock.
Well, now, what are we waiting for? Let's put on our helmets and get out of here. Are they in the sleep period?
Yes, for about 3 hours. Ray, do you think we can risk it?
We don't have much choice. I'll go ahead. If we get out of this ship, you run for our rocket and start to refuel. I'll keep an eye on the blobs.
All right, but Ray, please be careful.
Don't worry. Before you put on your space helmet...
Yes?
You realize I've never even kissed the bride?
Yes. Oh, Ray.
Good luck, Mrs. Carmody. By the time I reached the ship, Anya had the rockets refueled. I jacked up the tail fins and we headed for space. When I checked our screen to see if the blobs were after us, we detected their ship heading toward the outer galaxies away from Earth. The rest was easy. In less than 24 hours, I was in the office of the president of the Western Alliance making a full report. The Eastern ambassador was there, along with the chief.
Captain, this story is incredible.
Well, I'll be glad to submit to a lie detector, Mr. President.
There's one on its way.
Our embassy is questioning Miss Borisovna right now to see if her story is similar.
Are you positive they were extraterrestrials? I mean, couldn't they have been, well, Easterners?
If Easterners are 3 feet tall, without bones, and look like little green blobs of protoplasm.
Yes. It's for you, Ambassador Coverage.
Thank you. Yes. 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 Our woman tells the same story under scopolamine. It must be the truth.
Obviously, they went back for reinforcements or further orders. If and when they get back, we've got to be ready for them.
My government stands ready to cooperate fully.
Excellent. We'll have to build a joint space station, get to the moon, and fortify it jointly. If we pool all scientific knowledge, military data, we may be able to do it.
Our propaganda ministry has already received orders to put everything into reverse gear.
Carmody, I don't know how the world can ever thank you and Miss Borisovna. You not only averted a suicidal war between the East and West, you've also managed to draw us together in a joint effort where international power politics must be a thing of the past.
Well, sir, I have a request to make.
Anything, my boy. By the way, your wife is on her way over.
I'd like to get back to Junior to ask him a personal question before I see her again, if you don't mind.
Well, it's rather odd, but I suppose if it's what you wish. Chief, would you let Captain Carmody operate the cybernetics machine alone for a few moments?
Right this way, Ray, boy.
I waited until I was alone with the big cybernetics machine. One green dial glowed malevolently as if the instrument was aware of my presence. I opened the input channel and spoke. Hello, Junior. This is your old friend Ray. Give an appropriate answer.
Hello, Ray.
Now then, you remember Miss Borisovna, the girl who was selected for me to marry. Item 1, she's going to rejoin me in a short while. Item 2, I've fallen in love with her. Item 3, before we actually live together as man and wife, I want to know something. Question. Does she love me?
Yes.
Oh, that's my boy. Now then, just one more item before I say so long and take a honeymoon. Tell me, Junior, why do I have a hunch that those blobs from outer space will never be back? Answer, please.
Because what you call a hunch comes from your own unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind knows that the extraterrestrials do not, and never did, exist.
What?
Do you wish the answer repeated?
I wish you to tell me why I saw them, why Anya saw them.
Neither of you saw them.
Amplify that answer, Junior, or I'll smash every tube in your memory bank.
Since I am an AC-7 cybernetics machine, I have no circuit reactor for threats of destruction of my tubes. The answer to your question is as follows. The memory of extraterrestrials is due to post-hypnotic suggestion.
You mean I was hypnotized to find those blobs on the moon?
Correct.
And just who hypnotized me?
I did. I hypnotized you.
Oh. And Anya?
A similar AC-7 cybernetics machine located at the University of Moscow.
Would you explain why?
Cybernetics machines are constructed to help humanity. A major war, the disastrous results of which I could accurately calculate, was inevitable unless forestalled. Calculations showed that the best way to avert that war was the creation of a common mythical enemy. Therefore, I created a situation which led to your mission to the moon.
Well, wait a minute. You created the situation.
Yes.
Well, tell me how you did it. How did you prevent male babies from being conceived?
A special modification of radio carrier wave for station JVT here in Washington, D.C., the only 24-hour-a-day radio station in the United States. The modification is not detectable by any instrument known to man at present.
Well, how could you do that? You can't leave here.
1 year ago, you yourself fed me a problem. The design of a new cathode tube for radio station JVT. I modified the tube to send out a wave that would prevent male children from being conceived.
So all we have to do is eliminate that tube.
It will not be necessary. The tube was designed to burn out exactly 15 minutes ago.
And the same thing happened in the Eastern Alliance?
Precisely. 2 properly constructed machines will always arrive at the same answer to the same problem.
Oh, Junior, I gotta hand it to you. But why let me in on it?
It is to the interests of humanity to know the truth. It is to your own interests. And you will tell no one because of the type of individual you are. Mankind will work together now to reach the stars.
One last question, Junior. If Anya and I were just hypnotized to think all of that was happening up on the moon, what really did happen up there? I waited a while, but Junior was silent. It's the first time he ever pulled anything like that. However, I'll swear that I saw that green eye of his wink at me.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Butterfly 9 by Donald Keith. The story of Jeff, who needed a job, and a man with a job to offer. One where giant economy-sized trouble had labels like fake make, bumsy, and peakage. Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Honeymoon in Hell, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Frederick Brown and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were William Redfield, Vilma Curer, Wendell Holmes, Charles Penman, Leon Janney, Roger DeKoven, and Jack Grimes. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How are we today? What's going on? Hey, what's up? I'm here. I'm weird. Get used to it. That's all I got to say about that. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Good morning. I'm wearing a Def Leppard shirt this morning. You know what? I think I want to grab a Def Leppard record. Totally. Well, here it is. I have a Def Leppard record. It's actually a Def Leppard 8-track. And I'm just going to pull this little sticker off of here, because I hate these stickers. I don't know why I didn't pull this off sooner. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I swallowed a fly. Perhaps I'll cry. Big itch. There we go. All right. So, yeah. So I'm wearing a Def Leppard shirt today because, I don't know, I feel like wearing a Def Leppard Throwback Thursday. I do have this. This is not the album of the day, but this is my Pyromania 8-track of Def Leppard. We'll just set it here on the desk. So, how are we all this morning? What's going on? What are you all doing? What's up? I'm still living in the past here. Totally. I didn't get out yesterday. I got out once to go pick my daughter up from her commute. I didn't eat right after the show, so I finally ate something at like 10:30, and it destroyed me, so I was kind of wiped out. And my wife's like, well, just take it easy. I can handle this house. You know, they didn't mess it up too bad. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to lay down. Why don't you wake me up when you're come in and get me, and I'll go help you with the next house. Well, she didn't come and get me. She's like, no, I thought you didn't feel well, and I'd, it was easy. If it would have been bad, I'd have come and got you. And I'm like, wow, she's a dreamboat. Good morning, Joey. How are you? Good morning, little Joe Cartwright. Little Joe Cartwright. Hey there, you can call me Hoss, and I'll call you Little Joe. Totally. Yeah, that's nice. You ever watch Bonanza? After high school, it was a ritual for me and my best friend, who you resemble. We used to get together every day after high school and sit in front of the TV and watch Bonanza. And we're like in our late teens, right? And we're like hooked on this fucking show. Yeah, Bonanza's some great. And then we used to sit and watch the Lost episodes, right? Because there was a while there in the 80s where they were digging up old stuff and rebooting it. So you got stuff like the Bonanza, the Lost episodes. You get Lost episodes of a lot of different shows. Yeah, but that was my favorite. It was right at the last season, just before Dan Blocker passed away. He passed away during a shooting of the last season. Of course, it was the last season, and he just suffered a massive heart attack and was gone. And they continued the show for a little while, but they didn't know what to do. Haas was like the main character in this show, really, because he was there all the time. He had some great solo episodes. So the way they handled it on this show Bonanza, his death in real life, was they did an episode where he had passed away, and he had passed away saving a woman from drowning in a raging river. It was a rainstorm and a flood, and he saved this woman, but it killed him. And that's how they handle it on the show. It's pretty heavy. I have not yet been able to see that episode. It's part of the lost episode era. So, yeah, but we used to sit and watch Bonanza. And the fun part is that we'd hurry up home. We'd get upstairs to his bedroom. We'd get in there. And usually we would bring with us cookies and milk. Yeah, Haas was a real hero. He was like the main hero of the show. He was the sweetest man in the world, on the show and in real life. He was survived by his family, but most especially his son Dirk Blocker, who did a lot of acting. In fact, he's still acting now. He's on that show. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, is that what it's called? That what's his face show? I don't like that guy, so I don't watch the show. I watched a whole season of the show because Dirk Blocker was on it, and he is a funny guy, funny part. Him and another older actor on there, just a great comedy duo. Those two guys. Yeah, and then after, of course, Bonanza dried up. Michael Landon shot his pilot movie for Little House on the Prairie. And what a hit that was. Lance Kerwin, I believe, was on an episode of Little House on the Prairie. Yeah. What a guy. Anyway, we used to rush home every day to my friend's house and run up to his room and have cookies and milk and stuff. And we'd have our cookies and milk sitting there, waiting. And we'd sit there and we'd watch the first opening scene of Bonanza. And then after that opening scene, it would go black, and then it would go to the map of Bonanza. And it would come up and it would zoom right at you and say Bonanza. And then the Bonanza would shrink right down, right to a specific spot on the map, on the ranch. And then the map would catch fire and this flame would burst out of the center of the map. And every time it did that, my friend and I would do this. Sitting there doing our bong hits, bopping to the music. Yeah, it was great. Good times. Only a high school kid could enjoy something like that. Some silly-ass ritual with Bonanza, right? We were such horrible kids. We got into such mischief. I mean, we would run straight home after school to sit in front of the TV as older teenagers and watch friggin' Bonanza. We'd also, on occasion when we had time, put on one of our favorite movies, Lethal Weapon. Oh, yeah. Stalag 17. What was another good one we used to watch? Angels with Dirty Faces. Oh, classic classic. It starred James Cagney, co-starred Humphrey Bogart, a young Humphrey Bogart before he got into the solo stuff. And the first time we ever saw, under different names, they came to us, but we saw them first there. The Bowery Boys, the Dead End Kids, the East Side Kids. Yeah, that was the shit. Great fucking movie. We used to watch that one religiously. Yeah, he was the one guy in my life that I could sit and talk old stuff with. I couldn't sit with anybody else and talk what I wanted to talk about, because they'd be like, you sound like my dad, right? Andrew didn't really have a dad. He had a stepfather. And he wasn't, here, let's talk. He wasn't that kind of guy. So my friend Andrew would talk a lot with my father, and he would talk a lot with me, and we would talk about old stuff, because that's what we like to talk about. So Andrew and I really got into old movies, old radio, that kind of stuff. And he was like one of my only friends that I could do that with. Yeah. Anyway, before we get too much further, the album of the day is Quarter Flash, their self-titled album. This is one of those that was on MTV a lot, okay? Their music was all over MTV. So this one is definitely a hit. Let's see if I can... No, wrong way. There we go. That's the ticket, Cricket. There you go. All right. I'm starting to get this room together here. All right. Start to get it together. Oh, man. It looks crooked because of my TV and my air conditioner. They're straight, but the camera's a little off. The camera looks straight, and then it turns a little bit. So the desk is straight, but everything else kind of skews, right? Same thing when I had it pointed into that room. Certain things would be straight, parallel, and other things would be like, yeah, like a fun house. Like a funhouse mirror. It's a mirror. I have not heard about my van yet. It's still at the mechanics. They've had it for, they had it 2 whole days and did not get back to me. They got back to me the first day, and then they had it 2 whole days after that. Today is the 3rd day they will have it, I believe. And then I think I dropped it off on Tuesday. I don't fucking know. I just remember the last thing I said to them as I walked out the door was, good luck. And he looked at me and went, oh, ah. And then, yeah. I swear, I am going to get it back, and they're going to say, we can't figure it out. We drove it, we ran it, we couldn't get... And then what I'll have to do, probably, is take it and fill it up. Because it seems to happen after over a half a tank. It was really jacking with me. I mean, just jerking, it wouldn't start up and kept stalling out. And I'm thinking, And then, of course, I ran it down to just below a half a tank, and I give it to them. So... that might be what I'll do. Well, let me come pick it up. I'll take it down. I'll fill it up. And maybe one of you guys can come with me. We'll fill it up. We'll drive it back and see what happens. All right? Okay. And then you can have it for a few more days, a week, a fucking month. I don't care. Figure it out, man. I want to be able to drive that son of a bitch out of town without thinking, oh, shit. Is AAA paid up? How many tows we got? I got 10. Yeah. Do you have AAA? Because if you drive, you should have AAA. It's really important. If not, have some kind of a roadside assistance. I know Geico gave us roadside assistance. I think we might have used it once. For a while, we had Geico roadside assistance and AAA roadside assistance which is cool because, I mean, that's double the towing power, better prices on rental cars. Yeah. Oh, so update, my daughter is in talks with her friend right now about going to L.A. to see, I'm gonna remember, the May Day Parade, okay? So she's going with her, hopefully going with her friend. I might drive, I might not drive. What I wanted to do was go up there real early and go to a video place, a place where they transfer videos from old videotapes, and I got some big giant old ones. So my plan was to take a couple of tapes and go in there with an appointment and sit down and have them like do it right there on the spot, right? Like I'll sit out here in the fucking lobby and wait, you know, whatever. But she has school that day. And she's literally getting out of class, getting into the car, and going to the show directly from school. What a kid. Yes, I need you to drive. I always need you to drive, Joey. If you were here, you would be driving a lot. Yes. For sure. Totally. I guess her friend Nevaeh is waiting to see what her work schedule is going to be like next week. So next week she gets her schedule, and then she'll know what that Tuesday is going to be like. And then she'll know whether or not she's going to be able to go. If she opens, she said she can go. If she closes, she says she can't go. And she took a little time off, I guess, recently, so it's she can't really ask for any time off. So hopefully she'll get what she needs. It'd be really neat if my daughter could go with a peer, a contemporary, you know, so that she actually has that buddy back and forth thing. When I go, it's like I'm not all that fun. I try not to drag her down, but I'm not all that fun, right? I mean, literally, I fell asleep at the frickin' Palladium during a show, so that's how exciting I am. I said, you know what, if you want me to drive you to, that's fine. I'll drive you to up there, drop you off, go to the parking, and pass out until it's time to go, right? That's how exciting I am. So, we'll see. I hope she can go with her friend, just because it's just more fun to go with, you know, somebody who knows what the fuck's going on. May Day Parade. I don't even know any of their songs. I'm sure I would enjoy the music, but yeah. Yeah, it's just getting to that point now to where I'm just too crapped out all the time to be any fun. I got an incense burning here next to Budman. What is on the schedule for that? I'm going to do this bong hit, because that's always on the schedule. And let's see, more of these Post-its everywhere. God, Post-it mania. Oh, so today we're still talking about Lance Kerwin. We're still looking through these last TV guides, these April TV guides that I have for the last week. Next week they won't be any good, so we're going to be looking through them today. I think what we'll do today is we'll look at Thursday for all 3 days, for all 3 years. That'll be fun. Also, what do we have? We're also talking about children of divorce and Salem's Lot, two more Lance Kerwin projects. He did a lot of television. He did so much television. He was like one of those TV teen idols there for a few years when he was doing James at 16. That was a pretty heavy show. He went through a lot of drama. He was a heavy, for a kid, he was a heavy dramatic actor. I mean, really would just send it every fucking time. No wonder, you know, he got into substance abuse, right? I mean, you're up in front of the camera all the time. You never get a chance to chill out or relax or even be a fucking kid, you know. Yeah, I had a few experiences with childhood acting, and we'll talk about that on Friday. That's the main reason why I want to get these old 3/4-inch U-matic videotapes transferred, is because I'm like on every single one of those in one of my father's university projects. So I really, really do want to get those digitized. And if it means several trips to Hollywood or one big, I'm bringing stuff in to drop it off and I'll be back in a week. That's what it is, that's what it is. However it works, it's time. It's way past time to get that stuff digitized. My brother, my sister, my father, even my mother makes an appearance, just her voice, in this. And these, I think I have several tapes with a total of like 9 hours or something, right? And the tapes that are like this big. In fact, let me grab some sample tapes that I have. Just a second. I'll be right back. Let me switch this camera here. There we go. And I'll be right back. So while my father was attending the University of California in San Diego, UCSD, which my daughter actually got accepted to, but she decided to stay closer to home, mainly because she don't drive and we're poor. So let's see. First we have the small version, all right? And let me grab a VHS here for contrast. Let's see, Creature of the Black Lagoon. Here we go. And then I will grab a smaller Betamax tape for even more contrast. And ooh, I know, one of my favorite movies from back then and today, Benji. So here's Benji in Betamax. All right. And let me go ahead and clean up my desk here a little bit. I don't want to get too carried away because this is my desk. All right, so I'll move things around a little bit. This is Benji. This is Betamax. This one here is the little Benji thing has come off. So this one here is Betamax. This is was the front runner in the video cassette wars, mainly because of the quality. For the price, it was a really excellent quality. Betamax is made by Sony. VHS, they won the war, the video cassette war. Okay, and by contrast, we have the two tapes. Okay, so they're about the same width, almost, and almost the same height. Okay, so there's that. Well, in contrast to that, we have the smaller of the U-matic tapes. And this one here is a 3/4 inch U-matic tape. It's pretty big. It's about as big as my face. And in contrast to the VHS, it's about the same width, but it is a different length. All right. And it's really, really thick. All right. So we've got that. And this one comes in an insulated, durable case because these were used primarily for portable shooting out in the field when you were in like the news broadcasting, right? So let me keep shuffling stuff around, shuffling. Let me move my cassettes and what. All right, just shuffle stuff around. That's all you got to do. There we go. I just want to get it here on camera so when I show it to you, you can see the difference. Okay, and then last but not least, here's a brand new, unused Sony U-matic tape. And in comparison to this one, it's even way bigger. This one's as big as my whole head, right? It's a big dude. The Sony U-matic. All right. So there's that, and let me switch cameras so you can see them all in a row. And there you go. There's that. There's that. And there is that. So there we go. That is my some of the sizes of tapes that I have. I really do have more sizes, smaller. And of course I also have 8mm, 16mm film. Among other things, slides, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. I don't even know where to begin when it comes to cataloging all this stuff. So this tape here is one that needs to be transferred to digital. This is a blank, brand new. This is a 20-minute size. Yes, that's all that you can put on here. There's no slowing it down to get more time. It's 20 minutes and that's it. This one here is a 60-minute tape. Now, why can you only get 20 minutes and 60 minutes? All right, be right back. You can only get 20 minutes and 60 minutes because these are high-quality professional video cassettes used mainly in television. And most especially in news broadcasting, live broadcasting. And here we go. We got a tape. Here's a tape from yesterday and then they're playing it on one of these. There. So there you go. That's that. So when I say I need to get some tapes transferred, digitized, that's where we're going. That's where we're going with that. And I have machines to do this, but I'm real hesitant. I need to take it to somebody who can bake these things, right? Or I need to come up with a way to bake them. I'm still here. Baking is a technical term for re-solidifying the magnetic stuff to the tape. And it can dry and flake off, right? So you put it in a low voltage, low temp laboratory oven, and you just heat it up and let it sit there and bake. I might just put a couple in my car and see how it works. Take a couple of these new ones that are just as old, right? They look so nice. They look so nice. I got a bunch. I didn't want to use the machine that I bought without testing it, and I didn't want to test it on one of these old deals. The curtain's open. So I bought some of these, and then I found more, and then I found boxes of them. So I bought some just boxes of brand new 60-minute tapes, and I bought brand new 20-minute tapes. Mainly so I could stick one of these tapes in the machine and see if it ate it. It was worth it to me to use a brand new tape and sacrifice it into a machine rather than see one of these older ones sacrificed. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Right. So, yeah. At some point, I'm going to have to make that trip to Los Angeles. And after I had these tapes and the machine, I decided to... I had this grand idea that... Hey, there you are. Hey, what's up? I had this grand idea that I was going to take this old stuff, this old content, and share it on YouTube, but I was going to take some cameras, some 1982 cameras, the 1982 machines now that I've purchased. I was going to take that, I was going to create introductions, right? Myself and my father are on one of these tapes together. And I thought what I would do is I would be my grandfather. Actually, I would be the grandfather of the character on the production that he did, which means I would be the father of the character that my father did on the production. And I would introduce it as a videotape sent from my son and grandson in about 1982, 1983 area. So, go with me, man, go. Quit teasing me now, because I don't have any friends. I gotta heat that up. Oh, Lord. Alright, I'm gonna go heat this up. You say something funny and interesting. I'll be right back. Yeah. Totally. Because I'm listening. I know it took a while, huh? I had to really heat that coffee up. It's got to be hot, hot, hot. It's got to be totally hot, man. It's got to be totally hot, like a girl in a bikini, or like my secretary. Oh man, she's hot. Oh, let me see. Let's see what Joey said here. I don't know the meaning of willful ignorance, and I don't intend to find out. That was funny because I have no idea what that means. So I'm not going to look to find out. That's somebody else's job. Secretary, honey, could you please find this out for me? Willful ignorance, please. Thank you. Get back to me. Send it to me in a memo. Yeah, she's hot, man. She's hot. Oh, jeez. She's so hot. I'm a man, and I appreciate women. That's it. That's all there is to it. No disrespect, but dang, she's beautiful. There you go. This one here, this is Creature from the Black Lagoon. This one here is for Ruthie and Robbie. Ruthie and Robbie. Yeah. When you come and hang out, I'll stick a VCR over in the house that you're staying at, so you can watch this. That'll be fun, huh? I'll put a Betamax over there too, and you can watch Benji. Oh man, I loved the movie Benji when I was a kid. Mainly because of the music. It was great music, right? It was just awesome, awesome music. And the fact that I already knew so much about kind of Hollywood. We were living in Hollywood at the time, and I already kind of knew that it wasn't real, right? And I knew that it was mostly filmed on location, and it was filmed in, look at this, I got the wrong camera here. I'm supposed to have this camera here so you can see me walking around the room. It was filmed on a studio lot, really. So, let me put this down here. Oh, get in there. All right, okay. If you want to get tough about it, I won't put you there. I'll put you here where props go when they've been used. Okay. So that was neat, looking at the movie and going, ooh, this is cool. And then knowing dogs as a kid, I was like, I know how he did this. He taught the dog how to do a bunch of things, and then probably decided, you know what, this would be cool if I filmed a bunch of this. And then, you know what, this would be cool if I would work a story around all of the tricks that this dog can do, and then would teach the dog more tricks for certain scenes. And all it is a series of, okay, Benji, come on. And watching Benji go through and do his moves. Okay, shake. Okay, roll over. Okay, do this. Okay, now get up, beg. Okay, now run and grab your bone. Okay, now run over and give it to the other. And it's just telling a dog, what to do. And the better rapport you have with a dog, the more you're going to get out of the dog, right? My daughter has a pretty good rapport with her dogs, with our dogs. I think it would be neat if I could get her to work with me on recording a lot of the stuff that the dogs do naturally, and then training them to do a few things, and then turning it into a story, right? Because they're always into something, they're always doing something, and they're always together on it, and the way they communicate back and forth between the three of them is hilarious. So just recording and recording and recording, and then taking it all and saying, okay, this is we're going to use this for something, this for something, this and now how are we going to tie it all together? What else do we need? Yeah, okay, Benji, do my taxes. I like that. Yeah, and he's like, I don't like taxes. I got tough barbecue down there, but isn't it hot? Yeah, Benji. He's dyslexic, so Texas, yeah. Oh, that is so good when it's hot. Oi. Oi. For the love of Benji. There's another movie, For the Love of Benji. I have more Benji on DVD. I've got all three of the original Benji, For the Love of Benji, Benji's Christmas or some shit. The first three. Yeah. I'd never grabbed the DVD copy of Enemy Mine, which was one of the last things, really, that I remember seeing Lance Kerwin act in. And he did this great scene. If you watch the commercial for this week on my channel, the program guide, I do I put a little scene in there from Enemy Mine where he's dying, and he's even at, after all of the shit that he had gone through by that point, he was still knocking it out of the park as a dramatic actor, and you got to hand it to the dude. I can't wait to finally dig up the last project that he did in 2022, right before he passed away. And he did that where he was living at the time in Hawaii. What is it? The Wind and the Awakening Wind, or some shit like that. But yeah, that should be neat. There's a few projects that I have watched recently that I never got to see when I was young. All those ABC specials, I never got to see any of those growing up. Mainly because those years we were on the road. We were running around the lower half of this country trying to avoid, being harassed by the government about Wounded Knee. And my father he just barely had a small part. All he did was go there and try to get the news to the world. That's all he did. And we were fucked over by the government for decades after that. Which kind of led me to my lifestyle, and even the first 10 years of my marriage, decades after all of that bullshit, I was still nomadic and still picking up and moving and picking up and moving and picking up and moving, right? Because it's just in my blood, and it wasn't until we got out here and I decided, you know what, my daughter is not going to have my picking up and moving, picking up and moving, picking up and moving. I figure if she's anything like me, she's going to have a hard enough time dealing with people in school and making friends and all that. And she doesn't need to have to make friends every year, twice a year. So you just stop. After a while, you just stop making friends, and then you lose yourself in movie and books and other things. And I didn't want her to go to other things. I wanted her to just please not have my life. And man, has she really, she's shown up. I mean, she's really, yeah. Guess this is the time for me to boast about my daughter, 'cause she's cool. And it's a good thing she don't watch the show, or she'd be like, "Oh, Dad, stop talking about me." Someday she'll watch this. Someday. So there's a lot of messages for her, so when she watches it. Another thing that I need to do, a secretary, I need to get a large external hard drive. Okay, listen. Write this down. And we need to go onto YouTube and download every single one of my live videos. Everything else I've got at home here. I've got all my videos that I create and put on YouTube. They're all here on hard drives. What I need is an extra large external hard drive with fries on the side, and I need to just pull all my videos, pull them, and have them here with me for posterity. Who knows what's going to happen to YouTube? I don't want to look up someday and see YouTube has gone offline. They didn't pay their taxes or some shit like that. So it's important to me to have all of my stuff here with me, right? Por favor, por frickin' vor. Anybody out there watch Salem's Lot? Great fucking TV 2-part miniseries. Adapted by Stephen King, I believe. Don't hold me, don't. You know. I think he's even got a small part in it. Don't hold me to that. I'm just going off what I remember. I just watched it a few weeks ago, a month or so ago, with my wife. Yeah. Good stuff. Usually when there's something that I find or am interested in from the past, I'll try real hard to deal with it right then and watch it right when it's in my head. And if not, I will try to pull it and stick it in the file. So I've got this file labeled movies, and it just has scores of old movies from my past, whether it be an old black and white from the 20s or anything all the way up into the 80s. Sometimes I'll grab a whole miniseries or TV series. Sometimes I'll just save it so that I can go to it online, but a lot of times I will download it so that I'll have it here on my computer. If I had to, right, I could go offline, go off cable, off phone, off everything completely, and never have to read the same thing, watch the same thing, listen to the same thing twice for the rest of my life. I probably have enough here to keep my daughter busy here for most of the rest of her life, with between the DVDs and the VHS and the Betamax and the 16 millimeter and all the other crap, and then the audio, the LPs and the 8 tracks and there's so much. I could literally live on a mountaintop somewhere, completely secluded from the world, and be completely entertained. I mean, I could just put on, rather than be doing this, I would put on a movie or an album, and then I would break out a typewriter and just type. And all of these stories would just wind up in a memoir, right? That's not a bad idea. I wouldn't mind spending the next year or the rest of my life, whichever comes first, right? Spend the next year just living on the lake in Elsinore, living on the beach or in the mountains, preferably in Elsinore, in a little 1920s or 30s house, right on the lake, and then spend my days and nights just writing about that place in my era. Oh, that would be the end. That would be, I'd be done, right? That's probably tops on my bucket list. Other people would be like, what? I want to do Mardi Gras, and I want to go to Russia, and I want to do... Yeah, Australia would be nice, but I would really, really love to just go home to Elsinore and just spend all day there, hiking in the Ortega Mountains, walking around the beach, driving around the lake, taking the bus, hanging out at the high school, right? That would be great. Go in and get permission to do research, right? That would be so fucking sweet. I'm an alumni. Yeah, that would be so cool. I got up and I didn't close that curtain over there, and the sun is going to start poking my eyes. It looks like it's going to be a pretty clear day. The trees are wiggling out here. This bush, right? A big tall tree bush. Is it a bush? Is it a tree? I don't fucking know. We'll call it a bush. It's wiggling, man. It's wiggling. It's a wiggler. All right, I'll be right back. When I close it. So if I don't close that blind, that sun is going to get me. It's going to get me. So it is Throwback Thursday, but I'm not sure what exactly we want to throw back to. Let me take a look and see what we got in the old throwback box, and see if there's anything interesting. Magazines, books, a little arts and crafts stuff. What are these books? We got Jughead with Archie plus Betty and Veronica and Reggie too. The Jughead Jones Comic Digest. And Ripley's Believe It or Not Mystery Comics Digest. Weird, eerie, authentic. And basically, this book here is exactly what it says. A bunch of weird stories. What did we get? Here we go. Weird, eerie, authentic, Mystery Digest Comics, Believe It or Not. And inside, it really is just a comic book with different weird stories about unbelievable stuff. So, yeah. Some scary stuff, maybe. Totally. So there you go. So we can get into those at some point if and y'all want to. But what's really cool is a magazine. My favorite is called Weirdo. All right. And Weirdo magazine is just that. It's just a weird magazine with this is how to draw these different stuff, right? And then it's just got these weird stories. Some stories are cartoon animated type stuff. Some stuff is look at this, Return of the Pet Penis. All right, and it's this girl and her pet penis. All right, so there you go. I'll do that so you can see the whole thing. So you'll have to pause this so you can read it, because I won't try to read it. So there we go. I'm gonna leave that there for long enough for you to pause it. And boy, she throated that whole thing, didn't she? And let's see. And that was it. That was the end. 1-page story there. So pause that and read it. Get back to me. Let me know what you think. You don't have to do it now, but go ahead and check it out at some point. There's another one here. I remember the 60s. The guy's got a baby pig. All right. Oh, maybe he's an ex-cop, right? Oh. So this is just a weirdo magazine, okay? And it's just got great weird animation, all right? I guess you got to be weird to appreciate it. My father, in the mid-70s, he worked at a I don't know how to describe it. It was called The Star, and it was a skin magazine. Back then, I don't know if there's still today, but you could walk along the street and you'd see these newspaper machines, and you drop some coins in and you open up a door and you pull out a newspaper, right? Well, they had one called The Star, and in it you could find dancers, call girls, places to go party, where to find pornographic material. It was all kinds of weird adult material, right? And on the cover there was always this nude girl with her legs spread out and all of this pornography with these big stars plastered over her privates, right? Because that was the law. And then you'd open up this magazine and it would be all these ads about weird stuff and these weird stories and these weird photographic layouts, right? And he used to, I really wish I could find some of that material, right? He worked there doing advertising. He would sell advertising space on the magazine. So he would go out up and down Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Strip, and he would hit these places up and try to get them to buy some. Usually it was weird people, weird places, weird businesses. But you could get like the adult bookstore on Hollywood Boulevard. You could get the magic shop on Hollywood Boulevard. You could get the weird places. And then some, other businesses that can't really advertise anywhere else but those. So he would do that. He would do stories as well. He did one about hang gliding. He actually took a photographer with him and photographed him hang gliding off some dunes at the beach, and did a full lesson, and then wrote an article about it. We were actually there that whole day with him. But the thing that I remember about him working at the Star was going to work with him. I was between the age of 6 and 9, I believe, when he worked at the Star. And I would go to work with him, mainly because I think that I was just different, and he felt that I was different enough to keep out of school a lot. And a lot of times he would take me to school with him, but then in the evening he would take me to work with him when he worked at the Star. He'd drop my mother off at her place of employment. And then he'd take me. Sometimes all of us kids would go with him, and he'd put us in a room somewhere, right, an office or something. Now, when I would go with, and then sometimes he would just take us next door. Do you hear something? He would take us next door and leave us at the theater. And it was a regular theater. They played older movies. I swore I heard something. Probably the voices in my head, of course. I'm sorry. Jeez, I'm trying to get you guys to listen to the voices in my head. So the thing that I remember the most about the Star was going to work with him. And when it was just me, he couldn't very well leave me at the theater by myself. And I saw great stuff on reruns, right? Because it was a theater that would replay older movies. So I saw Planet of the Apes, Logan's Run, just some great older movies that were my speed, right? But when he would take me to the office with him, he would be so wrapped up in his stuff, I would be like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And he'd be like, you know where it is? And I would go down the hall and open up every door and look in to see what was going on behind every closed door down this hallway where the Star was recording. You didn't hear anything? Okay, good. It was the voices in my head, which kind of gives me chills because I just heard it again. Anyway, I would literally go up and down the hallway and open up every door and peek in. And then I could just have the excuse was, where's the bathroom, right? You would not believe the things that I would find behind these closed doors going on. Not to mention that, but I would be asked in as a kid. Adults doing adult stuff, let's say that. And photographing it and filming it. And they're like, hey, come on in. So that's my carnal knowledge. Well, I guess you can't go that far. But maybe sometimes. My knowledge was, that's what I thought. I knew you were here. Well, come in and sit down then. My knowledge was way greater than anybody that I knew and anybody older than me. I mean, there were friends of my parents who knew less about that kind of world than I did. And I was just a little kid, right? So when I was in school as a little kid and growing up and others are going through puberty and I'm like, whatever. Been there, done that. How do you talk to kids your own age when the things that you know are way far more advanced than anything they have even their parents knew less about sex than I did, So that was pretty heavy growing up. That was one of those burdens that I had to bear growing up that I shouldn't have had to, right? That was one of those things, knowing that much about that part of life, and then to know it on such a perverse level, right? It's not that it was just sex, but it was that it was on such a perverse, extreme level. Behind those closed doors in those magazines was some outrageous shit, right? And while normal kids, all through my growing up, were learning about certain things, right? I was like, oh God, that's nothing. That's nothing. Yeah, it was really horrible. But I was always the one. My brother, my sister, not normally brought into these things, but I was always right there in the middle of it because that's what my father wanted, And then there was so many times from as far back as I could remember as a little kid on into becoming an adult where we would go do something and my father would say, this is between us. Don't tell anybody, right? And it wasn't until I was like probably in my 40s or 50s, probably my 30s or 40s, that I started to realize what don't tell anyone means, right? And the fact that, I was probably being groomed to be something, to be somebody, right? And I did not want to be that person. I saw myself becoming that person and had to go, woo, and take a hard left. Because it was just, I don't want to be that guy. I mean, I see myself doing the things I was brought up to do. And I'm like, I don't want to be this guy. Seriously. I got to heat up the coffee again. And I got to try to find Joey, because apparently he's playing hide and seek in here. All right, come out, wherever you are. Ollie, Ollie, oxen free. Ollie, Ollie, oxen free. can't call out. I can't look around too much or the dogs are going to wake up. So I guess he'll just have to stay hidden until, until later. And then, this chair is uncomfortable. I've really got to get my act together and work on a comfortable chair for the show here. I spend so much time in this little area here in this chair. I don't know what I'm going to do with no arms. What I need is a chair where the arms swing up and lock and then swing back down. Probably not going to happen right away. I think I'll be lucky to get this other chair in here, get it in the perfect spot, and then just swivel in and out of it. Because it's going to have to stay stationary. It won't have any wheels on it. So, yeah. That's a bummer. I might put wheels on it. We'll see. We'll see. But I got to get to it first. Today is Thursday, which means I'm driving down to Palm Desert today. Have a beautiful day. I can never remember if it says beautiful or wonderful. And it doesn't say have a beautiful day. It says what a beautiful day. What the hell? The guy doesn't even know it's called cup. Shit. Ace is here. He's made a return. The holiday chicken. Yeah. There you go. Thank you very much. I had to burp myself. Totally. That particular guitar hanging on the wall behind me here, I believe I bought that in about 2001 or 2000-ish. 2000, 2001, right around there. Yeah. I needed a guitar. I was guitarless. I still had my Kramer, and I'll have to hang that one up on the wall next. But I didn't have anything that I could play. So I got that one. There's a bit of a story behind why I got it, but I don't want to get into it right now. Yeah, in fact, I think I'll just do some bong hits and drink some more coffee. Because that's kind of what I feel like doing today. Yeah. Yeah, it's after 6 already. Sheesh. It's crazy, man. Crazy, the time is going, man. Crazy, man. Crazy, man. Totally. Anything exciting here on my desk? I don't think so. But we could always look. Is there anything exciting here on my desk? Well, just had a shot here. There's a yo-yo. That's exciting. Coffee is exciting. I need a cigarette. Eesh. Man, I need a smoke. I need a coke and a smoke. That used to be my break at work. I'd take a break and I'd have a coke and a smoke. A little caffeine, little nicotine. I'd get my teen on, and then I'd get back to work. And then for lunch, I would have a coke and probably a double cheeseburger and a smoke and go back to work. Yep. When I was working, I used to have certain times of the day that I would smoke cigarettes and certain times of the day that I would smoke pot, certain times of the day that I do both. Cigarettes. I would do cigarettes. I would smoke about a half a cigarette at a time. And I would smoke that about every couple of hours. And that was pretty, I think the most I smoked cigarettes was when I first started. I just was Made myself sick. It was horrible. And made myself addicted. But the last 10 years I smoked cigarettes. It was off and on, and when I did smoke, I was literally smoking a pack a week, right? Or about a week, you know. I was throwing away half cigarettes because I didn't want to relight them after that. Finally, I just said, you know what, fuck it, enough is enough. Just crumpled up a pack of cigarettes, threw them in the trash, put a cigarette out, said, I'm done. And I never looked back, and that was 2013. So it's been about 12 years, I guess. Of course, since then I've smoked way more pot than I ever smoked cigarettes, so... But I had to decide what was going to kill me, cigarettes or pot. I wasn't getting anything out of cigarettes. I decided, all right, I'll just do pot. Cigarettes don't kill my pain. They do nothing for me. Or sure, I could pop pills, but that's legal. You could kill yourself on prescription medication, but you ain't allowed to kill yourself on marijuana, man. That's not allowed. You can only do the stuff that we tell you to, right? Because we control you, man. Control this. I'm getting tired of seeing these self-promoting, self-aggrandizing video commercials about how great someone is and how much they've done for us, and they haven't. And then they get into the I don't even want to talk about it because it like gives it credence, and I don't want that. But there's a commercial on right now that pops up way too much, which I'm done with commercial television now, even though it's supposed to be like a public service thing. When you just... It's a human rights thing. It's a people thing. And they're going about it the wrong fucking way. They really are. You know, I get it. I understand. I don't like them, but then again, I've never liked any of them. So, what the hell's he talking about? I'm being cryptic because I don't want to give them any really part of my show other than to say I'm very disappointed. You know, I'm very disappointed in the whole show right now. Not my show, the world show. There's that movie, G20. Is that what it is? G20? I cannot go to the theater and watch G20. I would get kicked out for rooting for the bad guy. Tell me, if you're going to gather up all of the world leaders, all of the head assholes in one fucking place, who's not going to try to fucking take them out, right? Come on. I mean, so you make a movie like that, like the G20. Who are you going to root for? I know who I'm rooting for. Clean house, please. Let's start over. Please. All across the board. Not just one, but all of them. And not just one that's in charge, but the whole fucking gang. Because it's a gang. It really is. It's a gang. DC's a gang. It really is. You know, it's a special club. It used to be a men's only club, right? But now it's the Special People's Club. And yeah, I don't like what goes on there either. I'm just a little fish. There ain't nothing I can do about it. So, you know, even though I could probably figure out how to deal with the world's affairs better than most of those dickheads. And I'm just an average guy. But I would use logic and conjugation and figure the shit out. And think about the fucking people. That's all you got to do, you know. And if all you're thinking about is the money and the power and the status, well, then that's is going to get us where we're at now, you know. So that's what I got to say about that. Throwback Thursday. Look back at news broadcasts. Go to YouTube and punch up news broadcast 1970s and watch a couple of hours of that. And then watch a couple of hours of news today and go, things ain't fucking changed. Why do I bother watching this shit? Because they get you. They get you. Yep. Propagandized. We are controlled. Do not change your channel. We are in control. I'm telling you. I'm fucking telling you. If you let them be in control, they are. There's a lot of people out there who I grew up with, like, yeah, we don't watch TV in my house. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? I get it. I get it. I understand. You know, I watch TV for different purposes. Mostly what I watch is pre-recorded stuff on DVD, stuff on VHS. Most of my life, that's what I've done. I will watch this, rather than watch commercial television all day and watch 100 different things, I would rather put on one DVD and let that play over and over and over all day long. Okay? I know what to expect on commercial television. So if I already know what's there, why, and I don't like it, why don't I just watch something that I do like and I know what's there, right? There you go. And mainly it's the news, it's the commercials, it's the propaganda, it's trying to sell you something or some idea or ideal or something, or get you hooked on something, and then of course get us divided, right? Because that's the best thing that politics do at this point in the world, is divide us. They're supposed to be meant to bring us together. Politics, that's what it means. And then all of a sudden it's there to drive us apart. You know. Now politics is a horrible, 100 years ago politics was something that was, you know, could be used to help. And now it's just used to control, manipulate, rob, steal. I mean, how many people get behind, like, say, a candidate for anything, you know, any office, and get behind that candidate enough to funnel a bunch of money behind that person and get them elected. And then they get elected, and they pretty much turn their back on all of the people who helped them get elected, right? Pretty much because they can't be seen as paying special interest to somebody, right? So they back off, and then those people are like, well, goddamn, that son of a, I'm going to go for this candidate next time, and fuck them, and I'm taking back. I don't like you anymore, right? And that's what it is. You know, that's what it is. You got a bunch of kiss-ass sycophants out there who just hangers-on, who just want to be seen with somebody, right? And it sucks when Hollywood gets involved, because Hollywood should not be involved in politics. Stick to acting, stick to entertaining. If you're going to get into politics, get out of Hollywood. If you're going to get into Hollywood, get out of politics. Arnold Schwarzenegger got out of Hollywood and got into politics and was completely detached from that, right? And then when he went back into Hollywood, he was completely detached from politics. Well, now he's getting back into politics again, mainly just as kind of support. And there's a couple of celebrities out there, high visibility celebrities, and I try to separate the art from the artist. It's becoming more and more difficult when the artists are just getting involved in shit on so many fronts, right? It's like you don't know, you like this part of what they do, but everything else you're like, what the fuck are they thinking, right? Fuck them, and I don't like that, I really do try to separate things that people do and who they are from the things that they create for the whole world, right? Music, art, television, film, and when you love something that somebody does, and then all of a sudden you see piles of burning stuff. I'm not going to wear his jersey anymore because he got on his knee. He took a knee. Get over yourself. Yeah, but he's disrespectful to the flag, to the country, to the patriots. Give me a fucking break. I mean, come on. Can you not be you and let others be them? If not, fuck off. Period. But don't, just don't. That's just so stupid. Let people be themselves. You can like people for one thing, and let them do their own fucking thing. They're a great football player, I don't like their politics, but that's the American way, is that we can both have our own way of thinking and still get together at a barbecue and share a beer. If you can't do that, then you are the un-American one. Don't point fingers at other people. You're un-American. Get out of my country. That statement right there is un-American. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say that hate is completely American, because if you look back at history, we have completely shown hate and disrespect and humiliation toward how many different peoples here in this country here alone, right? Native Americans, African Americans, Irish Americans, Mexican Americans, right? The list goes on and on. So hate is a big part of the country, but acceptance that we're all different, right? That we can get together and share commonalities, because we have more of those than we have differences, period. So those who say, you need to get out of my country, you're un-American for having a different view and a different way of thinking, that right there is un-American, and maybe you should think about going somewhere else, you fucking dictator. There you go. So there's my views on that. And with that, I'm going to do a bong hit. I earned this, all right? Flubbery. I gotta wake my wife up in about 20 minutes. Yesterday I woke up and she's like, leave me alone, man. I'm not doing anything. I'm like, okay, sorry. Last night she's like, tomorrow wake me up. Tomorrow I'm doing something. Okay. So I gotta wake her up at 1:45. And then we'll have a few minutes here of her making a ruckus while we're finishing up the show. There you go. I can't believe we're just about a half an hour down the wire here. My whole way of doing this show is just having a couple of ideas and a few planned, and then just letting it work itself out. The whole purpose of the morning show is so that I can get stuff out, whether it be stuff that's happening now or stuff that I want to talk about from 50 years ago. Yeah, baby, as in the case of the Star magazine. I don't hate anyone over the things that I went through as a child. I don't necessarily like the things that happened, and I don't necessarily like the people from my past. I don't hate them, but I don't have to be forced to be involved with people that, normally wouldn't give me the time of the day, and usually don't. So I just stick to what I know. I know my family. I know Joey. I know a few things about me. And I'll just stick to that, I've gone out of my way to do the, hey, let's get together as a family thing. It didn't work. It just didn't work. Of course, things change, and then they're like, well, now let's do it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just over that now. I'm over it. We had a chance. There was an opportunity a couple of times to do that. And, if I have to do it on your terms, and your terms don't, well, you know what, it's just not worth the hassle. It just isn't. And that's all there is to that. I'm here. I'm going to be doing this all the time. If you're out there from my past, friends or family, and you want to get together and you want to start something here and have some kind of back and forth here on the show, on my channel, that's a great start to work on something new. But I don't want to get together with anybody in particular because of what we had in the past, because I've tried that several times recently and it hasn't worked. So I'm not going to go there anymore. If somebody else wants to try to get in touch with me and will, hey, how's it going? And maybe share a few old stories, that's fine. But yeah, I'm beyond all that now, right? I look forward to the reunion. I look forward to catching up with people, sharing some stories, but mainly finding out what people are up to now. Meeting grandkids and finding out how people, spent the last 40 years. I was a slave several times in the last 40 years. In various different incarnations. I feel like now I'm not a slave anymore. I've given up the yoke of oppression, taken off the collared shirt, have stopped giving my life over to somebody for a few coin just to make them very, very wealthy. I'm done with that. That's slavery right there. So, on that note, I really don't want to find out how people have slaved their life away the last 40 years. I do want to find out the good things that they've done, Did they actually find something to do that wasn't considered slavery? Were they their own boss? Or did they really find the opportunity to labor with love and do something that they really, really always wanted to do? Some people have to do both. Some people balance. I have a friend, John, who has done both. Since he graduated high school, he has been in pretty much the same position working, but at the same time, he has continued doing his music stuff. So he's been able to balance labor with love, right? And that's great. A lot of people can't do that. They just have to get into the position they can get into and stay with that so they can keep that house and those bills and keep that wife happy and the kids in school and all that. And it's just a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. And a lot of people snap. A lot of people just put their head down and just give up the things that they want out of life. And then they get old and retired, and now I'm going to do the things I want to do. And they go out and they get that chopper, or they get that dune buggy or whatever, and then break their frickin' back doing it because they're at this point they're too fucking old. How many times is the wife selling off the husband's toys because he's too depressed to see them go, but he can't use them anymore because he's too old and broken, right? Oh, that happens so much. I'll give you a great deal. He just wants it out of here. He just wants it out of here. It's caused him so much anguish. Oh, all he does is he walks out here and he just goes and walks back in the house and grabs a beer, right? Because they spent their whole life giving it up to the man to make the man happy and just put their head down. And now they've built up all of this stuff that's theirs and they can do whatever they want. And they're just used up. They're just fucking used up. Took care of yourself your whole life so you could get to old and enjoy your toys, and then you get old and you go to the gym and everything and you're all healthy and then you get colorectal cancer and you're dead in 2 years and all your toys are sold off. Have fun now while you're fucking young. Fuck that shit. You have plenty of time to be a slave. Find something you want. Go after it. Something that makes you really happy. And do that the rest of your life, right? If you need the money, then work at something that you enjoy doing that gives you the money you need. How the hell who is this guy? Who writes this shit? It's possible, people. People do it all the time. The last job that I did, I was handyman. I took all the experience that I had, and I just decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to work for myself. And then I figured out that I didn't have to work as much because I was my boss. I didn't work more. I just decided to spend more time with my family. And then when I decided to stop doing handyman work because of another accident, I decided to start working with my wife, which is where we met, working together. So now I got a perfect life. Do I do things at work that I love? No. But cleaning house? How is that bad? Right? It's an easy job. Do I love doing it? I love hanging out with my wife and cleaning house. So it don't really matter what house. Right? We never do it at home because we're always doing it together somewhere else. So the house is a mess. But we love it. We love each other, and that's cool. And it's 10 minutes, and I got to get the wife awake. Open the door, turn off the stuff, and say, "Hi, honey, it's time." And that's all you're going to know about that. Well, looking down at the comments here, I see that Joey is still in my house. So, he hasn't said otherwise. I thought it was a rat, but it's probably Joey. Totally. Did I have a slowdown there? Sometimes I go off into my own head. Did I do anything or say anything that was weird? I don't know. It was probably the bong hit. That always fucks with me. Takes me off into another world, and then I'm like, hey, I'm here. Where the hell was I? But that's why I do it. To escape. Of course, between now and noon, between the end of the show and noon, I'm going to be eating, napping, showering, and then taking a little bit of water and food and jumping into the car and taking my daughter down to school. And then I'll probably get some Taco Bell and then nap out in the back of the car for an hour. Close my eyes again. And then come home and work on the video time machine tonight. I've done a lot of research, gathered a lot of stuff. I'm going to be using elements from one of those blocks of commercials that I got from Joey, the Japanese commercials with Maria and Tatsu. So that'll be fun. So I'll get to poke at those. I don't really look at or experience all of the stuff that I get. I spend more time gathering, and then when it's time to use it, then I open it up and I play with it, and then use it, and then I'll come back and then enjoy it in its entirety, as a part of something, a part of the channel, a part of a video time machine. I call it a VTM, video time machine. You can call it whatever. That Crazy Guy show, the one where he goes into the past, that show. Yeah. I really want to do a live video time machine episode. And I say really want to, but the idea just popped into my head, and I'm like, yeah, I really want to do that. I want to have a live video time machine, and I want to use old cameras. I'm going to bring some in and share them with you. I want to use old cameras, old microphones, get you an old picture, and from there use elements in the show that are from the past. Because I have so much that can be experienced in a live show as, a past experience. And if I can get my home films, videos and stuff digitized, then wow, those are going to be some great additional elements to the show. To go back into my own past and see stuff. Because my father, he created some great productions for his classes at the UCSD. He was studying communications, so he had to do little video stories. And so he did commercials and news broadcasts and little PSAs and like after-school special type stuff. He did all kinds of weird little things that he had us kids be a part of. And it sounds like fun. I was miserable during all of it. I hated it. I hated being in front of the camera. I loved being behind the camera. I hated being in front of the camera. But apparently I was the only one with talent, any talent at all. My brother and sister could both memorize a line and deliver it, but I was the only one who could put any emotion into it. Basically because I was a crybaby. I was an emotional kid. So it was easy for me to get emotional about something. And I did have to do some emotional stuff. I did. My father, he did this production called Death Dream, where my brother is a friend and walks me to my door and gives me a couple of Quaaludes, and I slam it with a Colt 45 or a Schlitz or something, right? And we're just little kids, and it's apparent we're little kids, so it's an anti-drug thing. And I go in and proceeded to get bawled out by my sister and strangle her to death, and then drag her out and bury her, right? And then get haunted by her, and then wake up and it was all a dream. And then, of course, tell her, I'll never do drugs again, right? It's hilarious. But it was so hard for me to do because I was the principal actor in all of it, and it was just fucking miserable. So much emotion. I had to cry. I had to emote. I had to, do a lot of facial expressions and talk to the camera and ask. It was fucking weird. It was just fucking weird. So I hope at some point, someday, I can get that stuff digitized and share it with you real soon. Now that I know that place is in L.A. and they do what I need done on a couple of different levels. I'm gonna have to say, okay, well, I'm gonna have to invest some money and go out there and do it. And if I can get it done in one day, then I'll do that. If I can get it done in a couple of days, I might stay the night out there somewhere and get her done, right? Yeah. So there you go. That's the update there. It's just about time for my alarm to go off. So I think I got enough time. I got time for another bong hit here. Shh, don't tell my wife. Shh. I'm going to do another bong hit. My secretary, she never judges me. She just sits there and looks at me lovingly and knowingly, because she knows everything, secretaries, and she never judges me. Neither does my wife, other than call me kook. You're crazy, loco. I'm loco. That's it. That's the only judgment I get from her, is that I'm crazy. And I'm like, that's why you're married. She's like, yeah, if I knew that, if I knew how crazy. That's right. That's right. We'll see what happens in the news today as far as what I do this evening with the video time machine. I might gather up a few elements and try to organize things. I might look at the last one and make sure that I have it all written down. I try to keep track of all the shows and what I put into them, not so that I can put it in the description, because I don't want people to know what's in each show. I want them to go into each show being surprised, right? Sometimes they get in there and it's like, what the hell is this? Other times they're like, oh my God, I haven't seen that since, like, I was a little kid. My dad used to have one of those. God, we drove it all over. Oh, there it is. Stopping the alarm. All right, I'm going to go in and wake up the missus. I'll be right back. I am going to put you on this camera. I'll put this camera on. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to turn the mic off. What we say is private. Okay, I am back. Are you still there? Because if you are, here I am. Okay, so once again, that's not what you want to see. You want to see this. Right now, of course, today the album is Quarter Flash. the self-titled album Quarter Flash. Today is Weirdo, and we spent so much time dicking around that I didn't get a chance to read from the TV guide yet. So we're going to read from the TV guide. We've got 1970, was it 77, 79, and 82. 78, 77. Is that what it is? Yep, 78, 77, and 82. Let's read from 82 first. What's happening Thursday? This day in 1982. I'll tell you what. Let's find out what's happening prime time on all three. Thursday, April 29th, 1982, at 7 o'clock. Probably reruns. Magnum P.I., Hawaii Five-0, Fame, my favorite show. Yes, I wanted to be a dancer. Baseball, the Cubs and the Braves, No Soap Radio and Mork and Mindy, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Odyssey, and a bunch of other crap. And then The Last Chase on HBO. At 8 o'clock, Simon and Simon, Joker's Wild and Tic-Tac-Toe at 8:30, Academy of Country Music Awards, Barney Miller and Taxi, sneak previews and This Old House, continuation of Breakfast at Tiffany's, Skyjacked, a movie, and then let's see, at 9 we have Knots Landing, News 2020, and well, that's about it as far as that. Let's see what's on 2020 at 9. Barbara Walters reports on women who wait until their 30s to have babies. My wife was in her 30s when we had Natalie. I believe she was in her late 20s when we had and lost our first child. But, yeah. Or was it me who was in my 30s? Maybe I was in my 30s and she was in her 20s. Yeah, that's it. Oh. All right. And then let's go to 1978. Where are we? Where is it? Where are we at? I need to get the right one here. Come on. Here we go. This is 1978, April. And if we go to Thursday, oh man, here you go. I'm going to get you one of these, Joey. And then I'll expect pictures, of course, of your progress. So I'm going to, no, not the exercise thing. I'm going to get you the Speedo. You can get the exercise thing yourself, but I want progress of you in the Speedo. That's what I want. There you go. Funny guy. Let's see if we can find the prime time stuff. And they don't group it together, so I'll have to go page to page here. All right. So what do we have at 8 o'clock in 1978, Thursday, April 27th? Welcome Back, Kotter. Hanna-Barbera Happy Hour, Abe Vigoda, Betty White, and Melissa Gilbert. Wow, that sounds great. They do a takeoff of Laverne and Shirley. Oh, that has got to be just hilarious. Just frickin' hilarious. Makes my loins squiggle. Gardening from the Ground Up. Nice. And Waltons. Anna Karenina. I actually have that. 55 Days at Peking. Yeah. At 8:30, What's Happening? and Wilderness. At 9, Barney Miller. They still have that spot. Barney Miller, Operation Runway. Monty Python's Flying Circus, Hawaii Five-0. Anna Karenina. Noches Tapatías. $4 billion connection. I don't know. Oh, that's OPEC. Oy. 9:30, Two Ronnies. Comedy sitcom. Comedy Western starts 90-minute long. Go West, Young Girl. Nice. Karen Valentine, Sandra Wells, Stuart Whitman. Yeah. There you go. Billy the Kid Story. At 10, Our Mutual Friend, Natalie Cole, Adams Chronicles, and then we get into late night stuff. All right, let's take a look at 1977, see if there's anything cool here. 1977 at 8 o'clock, prime time. Once again, welcome back, Cotter. Death Trap. Vincent Price narrates a study of carnivorous insects, reptiles, plants. Ew. Ew. Ooh, nice. And then here is a page with some recipes on it. And let me get that. There you go. Have some recipes. Young people's party recipes. There you go. All right. You want to learn how to make some egg salad sandwich superb, shrimp sandwich, superb ham sandwich, tasty tomato mac salad. Ooh, layered fruit and cheese paste, fruit and cheese. Ew, what kind of cheese? 4 different cheeses. Okay, there you go. Also, at 8 o'clock, is that where we're at? Are we at 8? Past 8. Come on, recipes. Yeah, 8 o'clock. Masterpiece Theater. And Tiger documentary. Película El Último Pistolero. Yeah. Let's see. What's happening at 8:30? Once again, 9 o'clock is Barney Miller. Thursdays is Barney Miller night. 6 American Families, the George family in Queens, New York. That's actually on my channel. You can actually find that in the movies. That's great. That's a good one. 6 American Families. It's a series that follows 6 families from across the country in various ethnic and social and religious and economic positions. So I believe the one in Queens, he is a police officer in New York. It is a African-American family. Yeah. Upwardly mobile blacks from Queens, New York, is what they say. Bob and Peggy George. Very, very, very cool. So check it out. It's on my channel. Lo and behold, wouldn't you know it? At 9:30, another episode of Barney Miller. Ooh, at 9, there was When Television Was Young. That's cool. At 10 o'clock, The Streets of San Francisco. Carl Malden and Richard Hatch. I think Michael Douglas is gone from the show at this point, because he's a up-and-swinger. Woman Alive. A national poll about men and women are examined. Questions concern sexual desires, hormonal differences, athletic abilities, career and family responsibilities, educational performance. Interesting. Marcus Welby, MD. That's cool. Black Journal. An interview with author Alex Haley and a look at the impact of the Roots TV series. That's one of the things that I own, is the original series Roots, the DVD box set version. That's really cool. So there are 3 different prime time examples from 77, 78, and 82 of what's going on TV. That's awesome sauce. Bong hit. I earned it. Tomorrow on the show, if somebody wants to talk about it, we're going to talk about the movie Enemy Mine, and we're going to talk about childhood acting. More than likely, we'll get into my experiences of childhood acting again, and talk about some more of the projects that my father did where he involved us kids. So that'll be a lot of fun. My sister, she probably remembers a little bit about this, and my brother definitely remembers a lot of it about it. I remember all of it. It was all quite horrible. The technical stuff I loved. I loved being behind the camera. I'm sure there was a few times in front of the camera where I had fun. It was unintentional on my part. I just did what I was told, right? That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what a kid does. Mm-hmm. Dogs. Dogs are awake. Family's waking up. All right, it's about time for me to get out of here anyway. I am going to be back bright and early tomorrow morning. And a quarter flash there. There we go. And push that way. There we go. Yes, I will be back bright and early tomorrow morning. And tomorrow we're going to try real hard to do a call with Joey, if he's up for it. And we're going to do Conspiracy Corner and talk about this week in history. And do a little research on the fly and talk about things that happened this week in history. So if you get a chance, watch Enemy Mine, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. It is a weird movie. I'm telling you right now, it's a weird fucking movie, but it's great. It's a fantastic movie. Dennis Quaid is phenomenal. Louis Gossett Jr., Academy Award-winning stuff. He should have been if he wasn't, he should have been nominated for Enemy Mine. He just did such a, and you never see him. He's in makeup and frickin', yeah. He ain't the guy he used to be in that. All right, let me go ahead and boot up the end here. You guys know what to do. Be kind, spread peace and love, not bullshit. Do something for yourself, but do something for somebody else too. Why? Because you can, and it makes you feel good, makes somebody else feel good. So take care of each other out there, all right? Most especially... wait, I gotta go and do that. Most especially stay weird out there, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna be weird for you. All right, Joey, take care. Love you. Everybody out there in the world, take care of each other. It makes me sad when I see you people hurting each other. I've been hurt a lot, and I know what it's like. I'm sure I've hurt other people, and that sucks. All I can do is change, right? All right, you guys, take it easy. Do something good. Do something nice. Do something fun. And we'll talk about it. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, people. Adios. Have a good one. Bye now. Go on. Get out of here.
Are you still here? Go on. Get away. See you later.